So in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how we hand stuff in here at Vic High. One of the first things I want to do is create a folder with my last name. So I right click on the desktop and I select a new folder. I'm going to call it the last name, and then I'm going to put a description of what it is. So this might be Info Tech 10 project. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and copy and put a copy of from my Drive H. I'm going to open up from my documents. I might go into Infotech 10 and find the actual file I want to hand in. And maybe I've already got them together in a folder or maybe not. So I'm going to, let me just resize the window here. I'll grab a corner to resize the window. So I'm going to find what I want to hand in. So here's maybe the platformer game. So that's fine. In this case, it's a game maker file. So I want the GMK file. So I'm going to right click copy, and then I'm going to go to the folder on my desktop. And I'm going to right click paste. Now this is just a temporary version. Normally I tell students not to save to the desktop because files on the desktop get erased on restart. But this is just temporary. So I make a temporary folder here. I call it my last name. I find the file, and I can tell I've selected the file because it's highlighted as blue. I right click, I went copy, and then I click back here and I went paste. Okay, now to go hand in. To hand in, I go to Drive W, and when you click on Drive W, it's gonna look like this. There are some of the teachers here at Vic High, and I'm on the list right here, Mr. Poi, and I'm going to double click on that, and you'll see there's 3 folders. One folder for assignments, and that's where you're going to go when I want to give you stuff. One folder called Hand In, that's where you hand stuff in, and one folder called Student Home. So to hand in, what I'm going to do is I'll go back to the desktop, and I've got my last name, and I like it when you put your last name, and then you can put your first name and other names, but on my marking sheet it's alphabetical, so it makes it easier for me to get there quickly. So last name and then a description of what it is, and put all the files together that you want to hand in. Right click back on that folder and go copy. Then I'm going to go to the hand in folder, which is on Drive W in Mr. Poi's area, and I'm going to right click and go paste. And when I go paste, you'll see in the hand-in folder, if you open it up, you'll see there it is, Poi and Infotech 10 project. Now I've got a few students have handed stuff in, and that's great. Easton has handed something in, and that's lovely. But what I would have encouraged Easton to do, it's great, he did it with his last name, but it really should be a folder. Even though it's just one file, it's nice if it's a folder, Android game or something like that, and if he would have had it like that. Now I encourage you to not just drag and drop, and the reason even though you saw I drag and drop, that's a quicker way to do it, but using this copy paste method, so I right click, copy, I select my object and paste. The reason I encourage you to do it that way is because because of the security permissions, sometimes when you drag it looks like it went in but it really didn't. So if you select a folder and you go paste this way, it goes in for sure, and it doesn't accidentally go into someone else's folder. One last thing, I'll just talk about the security permissions. When you hand something in, you're allowed to see the file names, but you're not allowed to look at them. And so, for example, if you're Poi and you want to go look at Billy's game, you can't, and that's normal. That's because the hand-in is between me and my students, and so you can see that your file's there, but you can't actually open it, and that's just fine. Great.